So today I thought about writing something different. So I'm going to write an interpreter using F#. The interpreter is going to evaluate a simple language, which is a language composed by integers and two operations, plus and minus. So let's see how I would do this. Bear with me because there might be mistakes or errors here and there. I'm preparing for an exam due the day after tomorrow, so I thought that this would be a nice challenge. So first thing first, let's write a type which we're going to call exp, and this type, as we said, is going to have an int of int. So this is our constructor for the type integer. So it's basically a wrapper around an int. Then we're going to have a plus, which is going to be a wrapper around a tuple composed by two expressions. So like this. And what we're saying here is that we want plus to be able to be something like this, which is in turn, which represents something like this, so 1 plus 41. But also we want to be able to write 1 plus 1 plus 40. So we want to be able to nest expressions inside another expression. So this is why here I am writing exp and not simply int, because we want to be able to nest these expressions. So yeah, and then plus and sub, let's call it add, and sub. Okay, and this is the same. So yeah, let's evaluate this thing. Okay, so now I'm going to write a function, recursive function. This is basically our eval, which takes an expression. So to unwrap our expression, we're going to pattern match against it. So here is the pattern matching. And first thing first, we're going to pattern match with an int, which is going to return an int. So we're returning an expression, not an integer. So we can further use it in our evaluate. If we were to return just int here, it would be, well, it would be different. I mean, it's better to go this way, and we will see why in a moment. So now we're going to match against this. So we have expression 1 and expression 2. So at this point, we have to deal with what we decided here. So we decided to have expressions inside the addition operation. So to have this, we further have to expand expressions using our eval function, which is why it's recursive. Okay, so again, pattern match against the eval of E1 and eval of E2. Okay. So what this will yield is basically tuple of two integers. So the evaluation of one expression always brings us to an int. And so here we can say I1 plus I2. But as I was saying before, we are returning, we are always returning from our eval function an expression, as you can see in the signature here. So this means that every return of the eval function has to be of the same type, so we can't really do what we're doing here, and which is why Emacs is telling me that type exp does not match the type int, because here I am returning int, but here I am returning exp, so they have to match, of course. So yeah, let's work at the expression level, and if I do this, it's okay. I'm going to work on the sub branch of the pattern match, which is going to be very similar to that one. In fact, just let me copy paste that. Yeah. And instead of plus, we're going to have minus. Let's evaluate this. I have lots of warnings, but I will ignore them for now. And let's say this working. So let's write a simple expression. So E1 equals add between 1 and 41. So evaluate that. No, sorry. Yeah. Int 1 and int 41. Because we're dealing with expressions, as you can see in the signature here. So now we can evaluate that. So eval of E1. Yeah. And as you can see here on the right, it's saying 42. So we're basically evaluating this and returning the result. Okay. So now I can write something a bit more complicated than that. I can write E2 equals add of, let's say int 1, and then the sub between integer 42 and integer 1. So again, this should return 42. And as you can see, it returns 42. So this is a really simple interpreter that allows me to deal with addition and subtraction. So let's say now that we want to complicate things a bit more. So let's say that we want to deal with variables. So if we want to deal with variables, the first thing we have to do is introduce a new type constructor for the variable. And then we will have to also provide a mean through which mapping from a variable name to a variable value. And that will be a map. So that will be our environment. So here I can have var of, let's say, string, and then to the eval function. So we will have an environment here. Yeah. We will have an environment here. Okay. And also, yeah. Nice. So I will pass in a map.empty here. Empty. And let's see that. Oops. Let's see that it works as before. Yes. So now we have to deal with var. So let's say that we have a var, and that will be an S. Then we will have to look inside the environment and take out the variable, the variable value from it. So map.find S and M. So, and this will be an integer, because I am assuming that first thing first, when I'm looking for a variable, the variable is always there in the environment. So I'm taking this as an assumption, and the value is always an integer. So this is kind of a constraint of my interpreter. I'm not really checking for that, so it will just explode if something goes wrong. We'll get an exception here, but I don't care about dealing with that right now. I might write a type checker for it, but I won't be writing it here in the interpreter. Okay, now we can start working with that. So let's say that we deal with another one. So let e3 equals add between var x and var y. Yeah, but these are strings. So var x and var y. Okay. At this point, I have also to write the environment. Oops, the environment, which is going to be a map.empty. But on that, I'm going to have map.add, and the signatory is key, value, and map. Okay, key. So x value 1, value 1, and yeah, map.empty. And also I want to have also a y. So map.add y say 2, and then I'm going to pass this one in as a parameter. So what this is doing is basically I'm starting from an empty map, and I'm adding a key, an x key, which is bound to the integer 1, and then I'm adding to that a y that is bound to 2. So this is my environment, as you can see here in the bottom right. Yeah, let's evaluate also e3. Okay, and now let's write my eval. So I'm going to eval e3 with yeah. Okay, I forgot to basically evaluate my eval function again, because in the previous in the eval function that I have evaluated as last, I didn't have everything in place to be able to handle this scenario. So I evaluated it again, and now F# found everything that it needed to provide me with this answer. So hopefully this made sense, and I didn't write too many errors. This is how I would write a very simple interpreter that deals with variables and that can add numbers. Of course, there are some parts that I didn't talk about. For example, why am I getting all these warnings, and some other bits that I have intentionally avoided, like what if, for example, I am looking for something that's not in my environment. So for example, if I comment this thing out, and then I pass in a map.empty, this is going to explode. Yeah, even key was not present in the dictionary. So this could be a bit more elegant, but I think it's simple enough, provided the limitations are all explained. So yeah, that's it.